When someone dies, if it is suspected to have been caused by an action or lack thereof of a member of the state, there is a very important office whose job it is to determine whether someone should be charged for that death. That is the office of the special coroner.
My brother and his son were killed by members of the security forces in Spanish Town.
It was December 21, 2007. There was a joint military patrol along St. John's Road in Spanish Town. When it was all over, Winston Malcolm Sr. and Winston Malcolm Jr. were dead. Family member Harold Malcolm recalls.
My family tell the story of, joint military patrol coming to the house to, cordon off the area. They were at several houses in the lane on the day in question. They, went in, they knocked on my brother's door, they went in, they started to search, they demanded a search. I said, listen, we want to search, and they were allowed in. They were searching for an extended period of time, and my brother, they were beating my nephew. My brother got upset. My brother actually, said, listen, this is police brutality, and they escorted him outside into the lane with his hands behind his back. He sat in a Jeep, and he was there, and eventually they brought him back in, and loud explosions were heard, and both men were found dead. Both were born June 14th. Their birthday is coming up, so you can well imagine this time is extremely difficult for myself and my family. Every time we think about the fact that both men, same birth date, same date of death, that has an impact that doesn't go away. Before BSI came, the bodies were removed. As you have heard this story often. I mean, they dragged them out, they wrapped them in their own sheets, dragged them out of the house like dogs, threw them in the back of a Jeep and drove out. When you look at the statements of the civilian witnesses, conflicts with the statements of the police officers. When you look at even the statements of JDF personnel on the scene, conflicts with the statement of police officers. We won't get into all the details at this point, but just to say that it was clear on the face of it that there was no shootout, and both my brother and his son were killed.
When a situation such as this occurs, the office of the special coroner plays an integral role in seeing that justice is carried out. In Mr. Malcolm's case, the incident happened before the office was established, so it took quite a bit of lobbying to push it along.
It took a lot of intervention from Jamaicans for Justice. In fact, my family wrote to a number of state agencies. We even wrote to the Prime Minister at the time. We wrote to the Minister of Justice. We wrote to the Chief Justice. We wrote to everybody. The DPP had the matter after BSI completed their investigation. That took some time. Then the DPP, ruled on the matter and decided that in her, discretion and in her estimation and analysis of the matter, she thinks it should go to a coroner's jury for them to make a determination as to whether someone should be charged. It is now 2013. This incident took place, as I told you, December 21st, 2007. The matter continues to languish.
The resident magistrate is the coroner for each parish. However, it was believed that a special coroner was needed to address mounting cases of killings involving the state. As opposed to the resident magistrate, the special coroner would have jurisdiction across the island, targeting cases involving the state. Justice Minister at the time, Dorothy Lightbourne, explains.
It was established because at the time, the number of killings of citizens by agents of the state, in particular the security forces, had increased tremendously. And also there was a huge backlog of cases awaiting hearing at the Coroners Court.
So the special coroner determines how, when, and where the individual died, and whether there should be charges.
The policy decision behind it was to pull out those cases that involved the security forces, agents of the state, and have a dedicated person to deal with those cases, a dedicated coroner.
Although established to clear what was considered as an unacceptable delay in the justice system, there is still a serious backlog. With the frequency of cases involving members of the state, there are now 193 outstanding cases. At the outset, there was much support for the special coroner. However, was the office sufficiently resourced to make an impact?
What was intended at the time was that the special coroner could use the outstations in the parishes, because remember there were outstation courts in the parishes that are used like twice a month. So they could traverse the island and deal with those cases. The main office would be in Kingston, and at the time there was a courthouse at Sutton Street Courthouse, which was not used for years and years, even when I was in practice. It was an empty courtroom, just sitting there. So what, in my thinking then, is that we could have used that as the base, start there, and just pull, and that coroner would just travel the island, and you could have as many coroners, you know.
I think that he was not given the resources to be able to fulfill his mandate effectively.
Human rights group Jamaicans for Justice is concerned.
We've seen a special coroner struggling very hard to make a dent on an inherited backlog of more than 300 cases, plus others that have come to him, other backlogged cases from other courts which have since then been dumped on him.
Mr. Malcolm is also a lawyer and knows firsthand the inadequacies in the Special Coroners Court.
The Special Coroners Court is beset with a number of challenges. The fact of the matter is that we have one special coroner, as far as I'm aware, and no assistant special coroners. And we need to understand that with the number of police killings that we see every year, with the tragedy and the constant brutality which is meted out to citizens, one special coroner is not going to be sufficient to handle the matters that come before it. It does not make sense to say, all right, we are trying to solve the problem, but we don't give and equip the court with the resources to deal with the problem.
The special coroner has a staff complement of 6. A special coroner, 2 clerks of court, 1 secretary, 1 orderly, and 1 office attendant. The Special Coroners Act, however, intimates that the coroner should be given the wherewithal to function. It specifically says it should be given such number of assistant special coroners as may be necessary for the efficient administration and operation of the office. That is not happening. There is also the challenge of getting jurors to serve.
You cannot have a coroner's matter lasting for 8 years. I mean, how is that? How do you then, if the coroner's jury finds somebody accountable, we now have to start back over in the court? What opportunities does that provide for witness intimidation, for people to forget, for people to die, for people to get sick, for people to migrate?
Mr. Malcolm believes more can be done and the lack of resources should not be an issue.
More can be done. If you look around you and you look at the things that they want done, it gets done. So it can be done.
The lack of resources given to the court result in delays in justice for the victims.
If you were to kill dogs in America, you would find that there would be accountability. You were to kill dogs in America, you go to jail. You kill citizens of this country, and what happens? You get taken on frontline duty for a short period of time, you're put back to go out there and continue the mayhem. And there's no accountability. And that is the problem. We need leadership at the highest level to address this matter.
The Malcolm family is just one of many still waiting for justice.
There's no Christmas. It took place 4 days before Christmas. We have not had a Christmas since then. Because there's no way you can celebrate at a time like that. And, you know, it takes a lot out. And that's what people don't understand. You see, you watch a television, you see people with the placards, we want justice. They don't understand. What people are saying is that inside we are bleeding. Our hearts are affected. People are torn. Families don't heal. My sisters don't heal. My brothers don't heal. My brother's children don't heal. His only son was killed. His mother continues to suffer. And that's the struggle. So the entire family, 6 years on, almost to the day, because we're getting close to December 21st again, continue to feel that pain as if it were yesterday. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.